Hi everybody, welcome back to the Decimal Works channel and back on with the ST2 project. Only the one video this week. I have been working on the bike and I'm just going to show you what I've been doing, but it wouldn't have made video quality. It was just cleaning a lot of the parts that have come off the bike, so I just wanted to get ahead of myself before we actually get onto this final piece, which is stripping the engine out and breaking the last of the rolling chassis down. So let me take you through what I've been doing during the week and some further updates on the plating works to come as well. Okay, so the loom has been all cleaned, which is basically just soapy hot water, then blow all of the connections through, and then a little bit of WD-40 has been sprayed in the terminals just to ensure that there's no corrosion. But that's come up really nice. I've cleaned the throttle bodies with a aluminium metal restorer, so they've come up not too bad at all. A lot of the surface corrosion's gone. Lamp's been cleaned, as well as the rear lamp. All of the black plastics have been cleaned, and actually they've come up pretty well, despite the sort of wear and tear. So you can see there's some sort of scratching and graining. Might not come up on the camera that well on the battery where it's vibrated backwards and forwards. Some light corrosion staining on some of the plastics, but as I said, this wasn't a concours restoration, so I am absolutely more than happy with how the plastics have come up. You know, they're good, they're in good reasonable condition. The airbox come up really well. What I will be doing before I put these back on the bike will just be doing some like back to black detailing, silicone sealant on them, just to try and keep them clean and make them a little bit easier to clean in the future. All of the bodywork has been cleaned down and checked, so both internally and externally I've cleaned it all so that it's in a known condition. So I've been able to assess what scratches and bits and pieces there are, and I definitely have to spray the whole bike. The level of scratching on all the panels is quite significant. So if you'll remember how dirty the base of the fuel pump was, that's all been done as well. And again, the chemical I used is quite harsh on the plastic super seal connector, but I've got loads of those, so I'll probably just stick a new one of those on as well. But the base of that didn't come up too bad at all. There's a little bit of deep staining on there, but that will be coming out for a filter change and a check of the hose pipes internally before it goes back on the bike. So what I might try and do is get a bit of Scotch-Brite around the externals of the actual pump body, just to see if I can get it a little bit cleaner. And I might replate these fuel connections for the hoses that go to the throttle bodies, because the cleaning chemical that I use is quite harsh and has taken the plating off, so it might have been slightly acidic. The grey plastics, the grey painted plastics, didn't come up too bad cleaning wise, but again we'll need respraying. I'm trying to hunt down a carbon one of these. I think I might have found a company that does one, because I think that'd be a nice detailing touch. So the next piece that I'm going to get onto today, I've got the engine stand on the bike. It is balanced, but not greatly because of the way that it pivots. So the first piece I'm going to do is get the rear wheel out and the front wheel out so that I can get it properly onto the engine stand and take away the pressure off of the jacks, which is not the greatest place for this to be sat like that at the moment. Do as I say, not as I do, as our instructor used to say when he broke rules. So this is not the ideal way to do it. But the reason for it was that I just suddenly realised I didn't have the correct paddock stand to be able to lift this type of swing arm. So we're in this position now of last few pieces to do to get the bike down into a fully stripped position. Just let me give you a little bit of a further update. What you'll see is the plating, or part of the plating kit, has turned up. So I've got all of the plating chemicals are in this 10-litre container that's from Gatorus, which is a UK plating company. So that costs me £86, which would be about €90 and probably about $105. I've got a 30 volt 0 to 5 amp power supply, which is fine adjustable. It comes with its own lead and crocodile clips, and that was £49.99 GB pounds. So again, would be about €55 and about $60 or so. So almost there with everything that I need for the plating work that we're going to be doing, probably in the next video or the video after, depending on when. I need some distilled water, I need a rust removal chemical, and then I want a load of these 10-litre food grade buckets, because they've got sealable lids that stops any of the gases getting out that when it's in storage. Been relatively busy, but I just didn't think that you'd want to watch a video of 10 or 15 minutes of me cleaning stuff, because it literally was just that. There would have been no commentary, no advice, no tips. It was just hot soapy water, bucket, brush, rag, and scrub really hard at everything. So let's get on with the exciting stuff and get this engine out of the bike. So let's do wheels first. Here, wheel removal is obviously we need to get the chain off. So I'm going to remove the gearbox sprocket drive cover, which is only 2 bolts, and that will come away. Then I'm going to loosen the rear wheel nuts, then just take off the tension on the chain adjusters, and then we'll be able to hopefully move the wheel forward slightly and just get this scabby chain off. Let's do that then. Sorry, the angle might not have been great then to show what I was just doing then, but that's the chain spun off. What I need to do now is just take the caliper off, then push out the rear wheel spindle, then take the wheel out. Caliper's off, let's punch the rear wheel spindle through, and let's remove the rear wheel then. Top tip for driving these rear type spindles out: 1/2 inch extension in there, with a longer one once we get it going, and that will hopefully take it all the way through and still leave the wheel in place, and then you can just pop that back out. Right, rear wheel was out. It was a little bit sticky on the other side, but all done. So next is front wheel. So standard front wheel removal, it's take the calipers off, loosen off the front wheel spindle nut, loosen all the pinch bolts off, and then we'll drive that through as well. Just as I get ready to do that, I'll loosen these straps off because it's holding it down on the front wheel. Bit of a bench tidy up off the camera. So bike is now fully on the engine stand. Okay, what you'd have seen me doing when I was taking the calipers off, I just left them dangling. That's because I'm replacing these lines, so I don't care if these connections here get damaged or if the line gets damaged. Plus, as you can see, I'm going to need to give these a really good clean up and service. Hopefully they come up looking reasonably okay. Okay, so now that we're here, we're on the final stretch to getting down to this engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the controls and then take the front end off. So I'm going to remove the clutch master cylinder and the slave cylinder down here, and I'm going to take off the front brake master cylinder, and then I can remove the caliper system. So let's do that one first because it's the easiest one, because it's just sat there ready to go, and then we'll do the clutch one. Okay, I'm learning something new on this bike every time I do it. It's the clutch actuator is actually screwed to the clutch lever, so you've got to take the controls off first to be able to get that off. And these are all one piece, otherwise I'd have just taken the clip on off. Gotta love the way they've put this together. So let's get the bar weight off, cut the grip off, take the switch gear off, and then I can just slide that off. looks like somebody had used impact adhesive rather than grip glue to put the left grip on, so it's just as well I was just cutting it off, because that would have been really good fun to take off the normal way. So you can see how this choke lever is attached to the clutch lever. So I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to very carefully take those very corroded screws out, and I'll check what size they are, see if I can get alternate ones, or I'll just clean these up and copper grease them and put them back in. Right, next job, let's get the top yoke off. You can see where it's damaged on the steering lock now, if you look to the side. So it's not a great deal of meat in there to protect that, really. What's that? That's about 4mm thick, and it's only aluminium. Look at the leverage forces you've got to apply to that. I can see why it's broken so easily. Anyway, what I need to do is loosen that bolt off there, then I need to loosen this top nut, and then I'll undo the front two nuts, take the top yoke off, and then fully spin that off and then drop the yokes out. Next job, I want to get the swing arm off, so I need to take this, so I need to take the rear suspension assembly out. First piece off I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen off the bolt that sits in the swing arm, holding in the rear shock and the suspension adjuster. That's in here, that I can just about reach with my socket. So let's buzz that out quickly. Right, rear shock. Oh, adjuster might be rusted in. Next one to do is this one. So same size hex, and then what looks to be a 17mm. Yep, 17mm. Next job, god awful snap ring rather than an external circlip, so I just need to punch that off, then push the spindle through to remove the swing arm. Then somewhere in there we've got a really scabby covered socket key that I need to loosen off. Right, I've had a bit of fun getting this in here, so you can see the score mark just on the outside here. I think he's had one of the previous owners has had a chain snap and it had gouged into there. So what I've had to do is use 3 different sizes of this and just work them in slowly just to get that in there. So that is now the right size in there. I'm hoping that there's enough strength in this bolt still to loosen off. So let's do that. So you can see it in a slight bit more detail there, so I'll be needing a new bolt to go into this side. Let's go loosen off the other side and hopefully get the swing arm off. Okay, just 2 bolts to do. Then once they're out, we just lift the frame off, or if you're American I think you like to call them chassis, but same thing. So I think that these will be 14 or 13mm. Let's get the hardware together and get these bad boys out. Okay, one frame off, one engine. And you can see the enormity of the challenge in terms of condition. She's messy, but if it were going to be easy I wouldn't have picked it. Makes for interesting content, as they say on YouTube. You can see on the frame as well spots of corrosion, and up there as well. So definitely and in there. Again, nothing serious, but I do want to get it back to a good condition. Looking at this is the weak point on these bikes, but I don't appear to have any cracking, which is a good sign. I can't see any cracking on any of the welds actually, so all positive there. Okay, so it's all apart. My workshop stroke garage is even messier, but now I've got a clear bench. So what I'll be doing when I do the plating is I'm going to do it on the bench. So I'm going to move the engine to one side at the moment. I might during the week, if we get some good weather, because it's a bit horrible again today, I might degrease this and give it a clean, just so I can see how much work is going to be needed to bring this back to a decent condition. Okay guys, there we have it. One ST2 broken down to component form and littering my garage. So the next video will hopefully be getting on to doing the plating work and some of the preparatory work. As I said a second ago, I need to speak to people about the paintwork for the bodywork and getting the frame re-powder coated. Somebody did ask why powder coat. It's more cost effective. I use a company where the chap who used to do the powder coating at Dimag Wheels now works and runs his own business, so he does really good quality work and it looks as good as paint, and more importantly he understands that the VIN number needs to be protected, so he doesn't blast it to death. He makes sure that it's masked, and then he does a light brush over coat with the powder coat so it's still visible as a VIN number. So I'm getting a bit limited for content at the moment now because of the lockdown position. I don't know now when I can get bits and pieces to be able to progress. So I'm hoping for the next video all of the distilled water and the chemicals and the vats stroke buckets would have turned up to enable me to start doing some of the plating. If not, it will probably be a video on something to do with the engine, or if I get the parts for the forks, perhaps we will rebuild the forks. So I'm now in the lap of the postal gods, as they say. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, chuck us a like because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Please share away if you want to. If you've got any questions or comments, stick them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell button for further notifications and more content to come, because there is plenty more to come. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers then, bye.